Alphinaud will have need of all of its wits if you survive this visit to Garlemald. We know precious little about life in the Imperial capital. It's been an eventful few days, hasn't it? But I suppose all we can do now is wait for word from Alphinaud. I don't recall the last time I had nothing pressing to be getting on with. We should probably make the most of it. Should I put on some tea? Tea would be lovely. You may regale me with your tale of your adventures in the Far East, and of your encounter with this new primal especially. I'll put the kettle on then. That table looks free if you'd like to take a seat. It's pronounced Tsukuyomi, correct? A figure from Far Eastern mythology, no doubt. Interesting. So the Tsukuyomi was summoned in much the same manner as Susano, by the medium of a sacred relic. That's right. They believe their gods or kami reside in physical objects. Given the danger they represent, it may behoove us to begin a catalog of such relics. But if we are to contain the threat, we will require better understanding of the summoning method itself. I believe I shall pay a visit to Doma and learn what I can on the subject. A fine idea. And I know for a fact that our friends in Doma would be grateful for any information which could prevent further summoning in the region. I will pen you a letter of introduction. Lord Eaton will wish to welcome our resident expert on etherology. Greetings. Could it be in time that I'm in time for tea? It certainly looks that way. Come on, sit down and tell us how your investigations went. After you left, I went about questioning Bloodhoe's gravekeepers. They all told much the same story. Once Lise and her officers had confirmed Zeno's dead, his corpse was interred under strict supervision. There seems little reason to doubt their testimony on that point, but when I mentioned the defacement of Zeno's grave, accounts grew rather more vague. None reported having seen any suspicious persons in the vicinity, and all assumed the act had been perpetrated by a vengeful Alamagan. Crucially, however, I was able to confirm that when the offending scrawl was removed, as per Lisa's instruction, no one involved thought to check the contents of the coffin. By that stage, 'tis like the corpse is already missing. Assuming Xenos has not, in fact, risen from the dead, we are left with two possibilities. Either the body was disposed of to lend credence to the claims of an extremely committed impostor, or an Ancian has taken up residence within it. If Asahi was a fervent devotee as he believed, he would not have been fooled by an impersonation, however committed. We must assume that we are dealing with an Ancian and proceed accordingly. Agreed. The question is, how many more such monsters are waiting for Alphinaud and Garlemald? Their presence was his chief reason for going. He understood the risks. I only hope he did not underestimate the extent of the infestation. Master Alphinaud, we are making good speed towards our destination. It's not amiss. Nay, 'tis just... I can see naught from my cabin, and I was curious to know the land over which we flew. Ah, I'm afraid our military craft are built with little thought for such niceties. I'm happy to indulge your curiosity, however. You're presently passing over the burn on the western edge of Othard. Even with the benefit of a porthole, your gaze would have been greeted with naught but malms upon malms of lifeless earth. I have read something of the burn. It was described as a desolate wasteland, bled dry of every last drop of ether. Aye. It is believed that a succession of icon summonings was responsible. When Emperor Saolis first came to Othard and beheld its blight, he is said to have reeled at the scale of the devastation. He declared icons a threat to our very star's existence, and issued an empire-wide decree ordering the eradication of all such entities. Report! Bomber attack, sir. Magitech armor, no visible designation. Magitech? But who? Ah! All cannons, return fire. Damage reports. The main reactor's been hit. Helm unresponsive. We're going down, sir. Damn it. They knew exactly where to hit us. All hands, brace for impact. Glad to have you back, Master Alphinaud. We have landed in one piece, more or less. But the air filtration system is damaged, and the ship is filling with smoke. We must gather the survivors and get out while we still can. Aye. This is going to be an unusual one where I have no choice but to go through. Master Alphinaud, might I ask you to search for survivors? I will see to our injured helmsman. Can't move the bar. Okay. My thanks. I don't think I would have made it. Yes, you very likely saved his life. The question of who would try to take it remains. But the last fear of the wizard. The prince wishes none of them left alive. Prince. They've not come to parley up here. Ready your weapons. Not here. Not like this. What? Who in the Emperor's name? Enemies of our enemies. Introductions can wait. You're calm in a crisis, Master Alphinaud. Let us finish this then. The Emperor, that man's a beast! Transformation is not good. Clothing swings. My thanks. Your intervention proved most timely. Well, well. I did not think to meet an Aeorzean in this place, let alone a Scion. You know of me, sir. I have some small history with your order. But I would speak of the present. Know you your assailants, and the severity of your predicament. The old soldiers bore the insignia of the Emperor's personal guard. And I could venture as a guess to the motive, but yet you have us at a disadvantage, sir. Will you not tell us who you are yet? Who you are? Our names are not yours for the asking, and as for our purpose, let this be your answer. Thasian mask. The face of our prey. We must away before more arrive. Come with us or stay, but make a choice now. Even if we should manage the long trek out of the burning, secure passage to the capital, we would no doubt be greeted by the Emperor's personal guard. Indeed. We accept your gracious offer. Shadow Hunter will suffice for the present. Come. This is intolerable. As much as I wish it were otherwise, there's nothing we can do for Alphinaud now but pray for his success. Well, that is not entirely true. While your brother journeys to Garlemald from the east, I could make my way there from Alamigo and find out what there is to be learned from the Empire's western provinces. Then I'm coming with you. I can't very well sit here and sipping tea if there's action to be taken. Forgive me, Alice, but the provinces are hostile territory, and stealth is all important. It is safer I go alone. I can sneak well enough when the situation demands it. Don't patronize me. We shall leave this to Thancred. Not you, too. I understand your frustration, Alice, but Sarah has the right of it. We must defer to Thancred's expertise in this matter. Fine. Just promise you'll be careful. Well, I had best put on my skulking boots. There'll be no room for mistakes once I've crossed the border from Alamigo. Alice and her brother bicker about, as all siblings do, but she worries for him nonetheless. It would be a kindness if you were to visit him from time to time and distract her from her cares. Seems that praying is the extent of my contribution after all. But I will stay behind as I've been bid. We all have our talents. Mine just happened to involve a silver tongue and soft souls. I promise to send word the moment I learn out of consequence. See that you notify me too. I mean to depart for Doma as soon as I find a suitable East Alphinaud vessel to bear me thither, but I shall return if I'm needed. Be sure to drop in whenever you're next in the area, Sarah. With any luck, I'll have a painfully detailed report from Alphinaud to share. If you come here hoping for news, I'm afraid there isn't any. Everything is exactly as it was. Stola is still investigating primals in the Far East. Thancred is still gathering intelligence from the Imperial provinces, and Alphinaud is still out there somewhere. There's been no word since his first scheduled report, nor does he respond to calls. All the while, I'm just meant to sit around here waiting. It's driving me mad. Begging your pardons, I bear a message from the Eorzean Alliance. Thank the gods for that. We have a visitor. Welcome to the Rising Stones. If you have a message, I should be most eager to hear it. My lady, the Alliance leadership will soon convene to discuss the matter of asking interference, and they humbly request the presence of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Having assessed intelligence provided by the Alamiga resistance concerning the whereabouts of Xenos' remains, they too suspect Aston involvement, which to deliberate in a suitable course of action. As the foremost authorities on our foe, your orders counsel would be most welcome. Of course, we should be glad to assist in whatever way we can. With almost everyone else in the field, I'm afraid this one falls to us. By which I mean, I'm not going on my own. You're coming with me. You're coming with me, not just. Of course I will. There you have it. We accept the invitation. Thank you. The time and date of the meeting shall be shared in due course, but I can confirm that the council will take place in Alamiga. By your leave. I somehow doubt we'll have anything useful to offer, but standing mutely at a meeting would still be better than doing the nothing I've been doing at the late. Let's make ready to depart, shall we? Tancred? What's going on, man? Alright, just be careful on the road back. You hear? Did I hear right, Riel? Tancred's coming back. Aye, that he is. It says he's acquired some important intelligence. Been in Garlean territory, though. He couldn't risk checking the particulars in case the Imperials will listen to him. So he said he'd head right back as quick as he could, and to make sure someone was waiting for him at the Alamigan quarter. Understood. Sir and I will go. We're bound for Alamigo anyway, and there's sure to be no time before the council begins. Come on, let's be off. There's no doubting your talent for espionage, but the long journey is long and the port is heavily guarded. You did well to make it back in one piece. You two are sight from sore eyes. And all I need water is for my parched throat. Push me a cup, will you? Just with the Imperial territories thirsty world.
God, I needed that.
I won't bother telling you to catch your breath. Whatever brought you galloping back to us, I assume it's urgent.
Quite. Without further ado, then. After the successful uprisings in Doma and Alamigo, rebels in several other provinces were inspired to follow suit. Unfortunately, they did not fare quite so well. The Dalmascans paid the heaviest price. For their defiance, the Emperor made a show of razing their capital to the ground, prompting many of their neighbors to abandon thoughts of resistance. But not all have given up on liberty. Heartened by the news of Doma's prisoner exchange, some still believe that the Empire may one day be amenable to negotiation. We have the shinobi to thank for spreading the good word. They have worked tirelessly to keep the subjugated informed, and a little knowledge can go a long way.
There is at least a spark of hope, then.
A spark in want of kindling, yes. the Alliance has already begun supplying materiel to resistance movements abroad, many of whom would otherwise struggle to continue the fight. The support effort has been led by the Sultana and the Elder Seedseer, who have both seen enough Alamegan refugees to know the consequences of oppression. And for their troubles, they have quickly earned a reputation as folk heroes in certain corners of the Empire. That is all for the provinces. As for the Garlean motherland itself, our friends the Populares have suffered something of a setback, I regret to say. Talk is rife that Domar has summoned a primal, and the Empire's more liberal voices are being drowned out in the fearful clamor for retribution.
And who do they think orchestrated this summoning?
Oh, any but those truly responsible. Xenos has seen to that. Speaking of whom, the Crown Prince is recovering remarkably well. Well enough, in fact, to enable him to personally tour the provinces, putting the fear of the Emperor into the hearts of any would-be dissidents.
He walks in plain sight, and none suspect him. Then it's as we feared.
Yes. An Ascian wears his skin. But it was not that which brought me here in such haste. During my time in the provinces, I learned many things. Yet at no point did I hear any report of a Doman emissary in the capital.
But Alphinaud should have arrived by now. Could they be holding in there in secret?
The possibility did cross my mind, but I have reason to believe he never reached his destination. As you know, Scions assigned to covert operations, such as Riol and myself, are issued special link pearls for communication in the event of an emergency. I mention this because it was originally Alphinaud's task to coordinate the response at headquarters, meaning he has one. And whose voice should I hear when mine recently crackled to life?
You spoke with Alphinaud?
Spoke with, no. I but heard his voice, and none too clearly at that. 2 words were all I could make out. The burn.
The wasteland on the edge of Otherd. Something must have happened to them there. There's no time to waste. We must make for the burn at once.
I had a feeling you might say that.
And? I can't very well sit around here drinking tea if Alphinaud's in trouble. You said yourself that this link pill was only to be used in emergencies. So I'm going, and that's the end of it.
Oh, far be it from me to change your minds.
I'll leave you to your task and see to my own. Look though I am neglecting making preparations for the council, we must act swiftly before the Alphinaud's trail goes cold. Propose we first pay Piana a visit. He'll sure to want to hear about these developments, and he may be able to advise us how to best use the bird. A sound plan. She still isn't Doma, is she not? They say she'd join you in the search if you ask nicely. While you see all that, I shall go report my findings to the Alliance, and we'll leave any preparations for the Council to me. Thank you, Thancred. Right, to Doma then. We have much and more to share with Y'shtola. As much as I would like you to visit Doma, you'll have to wait. 12 speed you on your way. Oh, and give my regards to Y'shtola. Curious. That is curious indeed. Thank you, my lady. You are most kind. Finger twitches. I don't like it. Well, well. Two faces from the dim and distant past. Come now, it hasn't been that long. Who was it you were speaking with? The locals miner him supplies crystals for the rebuilding effort. Of late, he claims to have struggled to find a crystal which is a trace of elemental energy. Upon learning that I had some knowledge of ether, he came seeking my counsel. Just now, he brought up one of his recent finds. It was precisely as he described, devoid of elemental energy, and eerily reminiscent of the aspect of crystals that manifested in the hours and the days prior to the calamity. It would be wise to investigate this phenomenon once more closely. Indeed. On a more positive note, the locals seem to have taken a liking to you. More an interest in than a liking to, I think. The sight of a mikote with a peculiar contraption upon her head has a certain novelty value in these parts. Any actual regard for them you have for me, I owe wholly to you and the others who came before. Everyone here has been exceedingly cooperative, and I am pleased to report that I have all but concluded my investigation. Simply put, by focusing one's will upon an ether-infused object of worship, it is possible to conduct a ceremony. So the fact that they are objects of worship is the key. They are themselves suffused with the requisite belief. Correct. Such sacred relics as the Kojin collect obviate the need for religious fervor in the summoner, Yotoyu being the most obvious example. She had but to associate the artifact given to her by Asahi with the divine, and it served to amplify her desires and give them form. A form nourished through the power of crystals, also provided by her brother, and thus was Tsukuyomi brought into being. Which brings me to the question of preventive measures, to which I have yet to find a satisfactory answer. At present, I know not what that will avail us, save to keep watch over the movement of relics and crystals, as if we did not have enough to keep watch over already. But I doubt you came all this way to hear that which may be per use in a report. Has something happened to Alphinaud? I shall join you in the search, of course. Thank you, Stella. I should be glad for your help, truly. Now, if there's nothing else, I should go ahead and request an audience with Lord Eaton. Alice puts on a brave face, but she has little talent for concealment. You should join her at the Kinkan. Lord Hayden is expecting you. May I show you in? I should not have allowed Master Alphinaud to leave without an escort, but it avails us not to dwell on the past. We must focus what can be done now. My report can wait. Finding Alphinaud must take priority. There you are, for pricing of the situation. Greetings, my friend. Alice has explained all to me. Needless to say, you shall have our full cooperation in the search. Even if Alphinaud's trail does lead to the burn of all places. The region known as the Burn occupies a special place in Garlean history. Every child in the Empire is familiar with the tale. In distant past, it was a verdant land teeming with life. The successive summoning saw blood drive ether and reduced to a desert. It was upon the beholdment of the devastation that the primals had brought that the Emperor Solus was spurred to embark on his broadest crusade against their kind. The burn offers a glimpse of the future we may seek to prevent. Know you of any reason Alphinaud might have gone there? Aye. mischance. Though lies on the route to Galamon, it was no place to make a stop. My guess is they encountered some minor trouble there. In any event, I am of the same mind as Ali said. We have no choice but to take our search out to the bird. Given the considerable distances involved, 'tis best we went by bird. Sarah and I have our yawls. Yugiri, will you ready falcons for the others? I shall gather our siftest birds. Near the House of the Fierce, there is an overlook. Pray join us there once you have seen to your preparations. Coming for you, Alphinaud. Having named him emissary of Doma, Lord Eaton considered himself personally responsible for Master Alphinaud's safety. Naught I could say would sway him from joining in the search. With such a steed to bear me to and fro, I could perform my field work in a fraction of time. Maybe I should try my hand at this Bardam's medal. If everyone here is here and possessed of a bird, let us away. Remember, our destination is a barren wasteland. There is no civilization to speak of